Hi booktubers, I'm back today with a review of Life After Life by Kate Atkinson, and I'm going to try not to bumble through this review because I had a lot of really mixed feelings about this book, but it's highly discussable, so I'm excited to review it. Life After Life has a beautiful, striking cover, and this has been one of the most buzzed about books of the year. So, Ursula Todd lives her life over and over again. She dies repeatedly. I can't even count the number of lives that she went through in this book. And when I started, I thought that the premise was a little bit tired. I thought I had seen it done before. I've read books where characters live repeated lives together, like Andrew Davidson's The Gargoyle, which I really enjoyed. I've also read books where the characters never die, like Pilgrim by Timothy Findley. And so I have several other books on my shelves that have sort of similar plots, and so I didn't think I was really in for anything new. But Ursula Todd lives the same life over and over again in the same circumstances. She is always born to the same family. She always has the same siblings. It's just that the things that happen to her, her fate, is different in every life. So, for instance, the book opens, and this is not a spoiler, with her shooting Hitler. And I thought, oh crap, we are in for a great ride. Holy smoke, where are we going from here? And then in the next section, she is born to her mother on a snowy night in 1910, 1913, something like that. And she doesn't even make it past birth. Like, she's strangled by the cord. And so that life is very quick, but it immediately starts over on the same night. And she is born successfully. But the book basically goes through several lives that focus on her early childhood. And she dies in several different ways. Spanish flu plays a role. A fall from a roof. Then once she kind of successfully navigates childhood through a few different lives, we move into her teen years. And there are some really tragic lives that she lives. And there are some that are more successful. And then we move into like her 20s, and she is heavily involved in World War II in London. And those bombings and that continual terror that's involved. And so I found it tedious, especially in the beginning, that just when I was getting into a life, just as I was enjoying the story of a life, she would die and we would have to start over. And, Kate Atkinson handles it so cleverly. It's never exactly the same. And she doesn't spend, if Ursula gets into her 20s and her life starts over, we don't necessarily go back to 1913 and start completely over. She really picks and chooses the portions that she recaps about Ursula's life, or the part that she focuses on. And so it was never exactly the same thing over and over again. So what I struggled with was not the writing style. The writing was beautiful, and I really enjoyed reading it. I always felt like I was there. I always felt like I was invested in Ursula's life and in her fate. However, I still don't exactly know what we were supposed to get out of it. The movie Groundhog Day comes to mind because as the character, and that's really the most similar instance I can think of a book or a film that follows the same sort of plot. A horrible, god-awful weatherman played by Bill Murray lives the same life, the same day, over and over again. But in his case, every time he lives it, he knows that he's reliving the same day. And so he has an opportunity to struggle and to become a better person because of that repetition. But Ursula doesn't necessarily remember her previous lives. She gets flashes. She gets the sense of deja vu. But it's not a straightforward case of her remembering her past lives in detail. And I would say that at one point it does sort of all come together for her close to the end of the book. But I didn't feel like her purpose in this was to become a better person. It was really, I don't know. I just don't know what Kate Atkinson was trying to tell me. I don't know if she was just saying everything's fate. It could always be a different path. There's that sense of the butterfly effect. of one thing changes and it can change the entire trajectory of your life. So, that's kind of a bleak outlook to think it doesn't really make any difference what happens to us. It's just all chance, and it's just all like this ping pong ball effect of, okay, well, if this happens one way, you'll go one way. If it happens another way, you'll go another way. There's no right way. There's just different ways. But then again, on another level, that emphasizes that we should make the most and live our fullest life because, you know, we only get one shot, unlike Ursula. So yeah, I don't know. I was just really confused by the motivation behind the book as a whole. I didn't feel like there was a clear message. There doesn't have to be. I'm okay with ambiguity for the most part. But in this format, it seemed a little bit frustrating. So yeah, I don't know. I was just a little iffy about it. That's all I know to say. On another level, if Kate Atkinson is playing God with her writing and saying, look at all the different paths a writer can choose to take their character down, I actually like that exercise a lot better than just this sort of naturalistic view that, you know, our lives are all chance and there's no great design and, you know, whatever. It's just whatever. I like it better as a writerly exercise than I do a plot thrust. So, yeah. Ursula definitely had an interesting set of lives. I was really taken with the writing. I was really taken with the different paths that Atkinson took her down. It was very creative, and it was very, very well written. It was hard to read about the portions dealing with World War II, especially because Ursula played a big role in rescuing people from bombed buildings and things like that in London. And so I had never felt in any reading that I've ever done about World War II and the Blitz, I had never felt the sense of how ominous and how relentless that bombing every day would be. You know, it really, I mean, we all know World War II is horrible for everyone involved, but I've never read a book that really took it home for me how horrible it would have been in England with bombing every day. Just, yeah, I mean, it really affected me in that way. It was really hard to read. It was really gruesome. It was really true of war and wartime. So, yeah, I mean, I really applaud Kate Atkinson for what she's trying to do. I applaud the book for originality and for beautiful writing. It's one of those books that I appreciated more than I enjoyed. And I think I'm in the minority because people seem to really enjoy this book. I don't think I've seen too many complaints about the things that I am complaining about. But I still, even though I grappled with it, even though I thought it had some issues, I still gave it 4 stars because it is undoubtedly one of the most creative, well-written books I've read in a very long time. So, yeah, I have to recognize that as a reader and a reviewer, that not many books come along like this. And it is totally discussable. I'm really looking forward to discussing it with my book club this coming week. And if you've read Life After Life, I would love to know your thoughts. I am more than game for discussing it. And if you do read it, let me know what you think. Until next time, have a great day.